True Review is in the house! No, really, True Review has just broken into your house and is about to steal your dog, and then going into your bathroom and pissing all over the toilet seat. But enough about my weekends off. This top 10 list is dedicated to some of the worst endings that video gaming has to offer, so let's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready or not, here we go.
Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. A boss fight that's supposed to be awesome and badass because it's against Darth Maul. This boss fight will only occur one of two ways. Either by frantic button mashing, or by standing by the door and shooting him with rockets. With all the hype that naturally comes with the anticipation of fighting Darth Maul, this end did turn out to be quite the letdown. Paints a different image of the ending to that movie though, doesn't it? Postal 3. I'll let slide that the Venezuelan army showed up at the end for some reason, and then you have the most pitiful endgame boss battle, where you can just hide round the corner and shoot through the window to win, but you end up killing all of the main characters. Uncle Dave, Osama, they're like two of the central characters in the Postal games, so why are we icing them? And then for some reason again, the Postal dude becomes president and then nukes the world. I doubt anyone who had previously worked in a pawn shop or who owned a dog that was hooked on mauling people's junk would end up becoming president of the United States. Metal Gear Solid 2. All I can say is God bless America, because that was certainly the message given here. The ending to this game is a lot like the ending to those American reality shows where they really milk the winner's moment of glory right at the end. To summarise the ending to this game, we have freedom of speech, we have guns, the president is your dad and Raiden is still a pussy. With the head of the terrorist faction dead, that being as solid as Snake, Raiden is still confused as to what's going on, and hell, I'm with him on that because this game doesn't then go on to answer those questions. Instead, Snake shows up and gives him a ton of philosophical bullshit and then f***s off. Then Rosemary shows up, and finally Raiden realises that today's their anniversary, despite the fact that we all worked that out at the start of the game. Oh, and the Patriots have been dead for 100 years. So who have we been fighting against? Who's the enemy? God, I'm so confused.
Lane Goodman.
Unreal Tournament 3. Yeah, I'm reluctant to put any Unreal game on a negative top 10 list, but this one actually deserves this place. This game was really good, and did a very good job at bringing the franchise back from the trash heap that Atari had thrown it on. The gameplay was very good, and the graphics were, and still are great. But aside from sharing some strange similarities to Gears of War, the ending was total shit. Jester and everyone else died. Good, I couldn't give a crap about them. But despite the fact that you seem to have won, all of a sudden, Ronin is surrounded by Necros, and then in possibly the most cliche and cheesy ending ever, he runs at them guns blazing, and then we go to a freeze frame of him running at them guns blazing, and then that's the end. What? Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. Don't even get me started on this game. They really hit home with the fact that you're a Space Marine. Space Marine? Space Marine? We're f***ing Space Marines! Actually, I'm an Ultramarine, you racist f***. I only have one question here. Where the hell was my end of game boss fight? I had a mid-game boss fight, and then the game was building up for an all-out end-game brawl, but instead I had to settle for an endurance round, and then the game had the cheek of ending it all with a load of quick-time events. This is a classic example of why everyone hates quick-time events. You go through the whole game without having any of them, and then right at the end, bam! You get a bunch of them from out of nowhere, and you're caught completely off guard and will probably lose at the end because you weren't expecting them. But, against all odds, you win the day, save the planet from the forces of chaos, kick a ton of orc butts and make it out alive to claim the glory. Only to then have one of your team members screw you over because despite the fact that you've effectively saved humanity, you just come across like an untrustworthy guy. What? What else am I supposed to do to get your support? I've just saved the lives of millions of people and you think that I'm an agent of chaos? What a shit ending. Ghostbusters on the NES. What's the best way of ending a terrible game? Well, a swift ending, I'd hope. But no, the real answer is, of course, a terrible ending, and that's what we have here. In one of the most famous occasions where the developing team clearly have never heard of the phrase proofreading, we have an ending that appears suddenly and is full of spelling and grammatical errors. Thanks, guys. Just thanks. Duke Nuke'm Forever. What a shit ending that was. It reminded me of the ending from Postal 3, but worse. It's like, big alien is dead. Right, stop there. That's it now. Duke's dead. F*** off. Go play outside or something. Oh, by the way, Duke's now running for president for some reason. I'm confused. What just happened? In the space of about 5 seconds, this game has made my brain feel like it's been thrown into a blender. It's like they really wanted this game to end quickly. And take into account that they had 14 years to make this game since Duke 3D, you'd think that they would have had enough time to put together a decent ending. Wishful thinking, I guess.
It was those 3 words to save my life.
Halo 2. Come on, we're all thinking it. Not only did this ending take the piss, but it hurt too. This game is what the Animatrix is to the Matrix franchise. Filler. It shouldn't have been an entire game, it should have been a DLC pack to the first one. But finally, we get to the ending itself after going through all of the levels. Now, I don't mind cliffhangers, so long as it's done in good taste, i.e. it's not too much that's going to make me write an angry letter, but enough to keep me interested until the next game. But this one was below the belt. The Master Chief story gets axed near the end, leaving the final climactic battle as untouched as a Playboy bunny in a gay club, and then you get one more level as the Arbiter, and then that's it. Players were then forced to wait 3 years until the next one came out, and by then, the Halo franchise had moved on to the Xbox 360, meaning that players had to either buy a new console to find out what happened next, or be forced to look up what happened online. Prince of Persia. This is of course the 2008 game and not the original. Having spent so long running all over the place collecting light seeds, and then having to put up with a whole list of problems, including more QuickTime events, this game ends with one of the most offensive endings ever. Having sacrificed herself to save the world, Elika has thus returned the natural order of things to the world, and Ahriman has been locked back in his magical prison. But the prince decides to throw all of this away, along with all of the hours that we sunk into this game, by releasing Ahriman from his prison in order to bring Elika back from the dead, in the exact same way as her father did at the beginning. So by the time this game ends, nothing has changed. The world's still about to get f***ed, except this time we hate the prince even more. The ending itself strangely reflects, with accuracy, how I felt after I stopped playing. The prince's actions means that he just wasted his entire time on this pointless adventure, but at the same time, funnily enough, that's exactly how I felt towards the game. Nothing was achieved, and nothing can be taken away from it, meaning that I might as well have not even played it.
One more time,
Limbo of the Lost. Why am I talking about this game again? Well, if you're familiar with this one, then it's probably because of the spectacular fail of an ending. Though Limbo of the Lost is also famous for a few other things, it could well be the ending that most people are aware of. After doing... I don't even know what. You put the seal in place that will prevent... or ensure... something will or won't happen? And then once all said and done, it's time to go down to the local tavern that's ripped straight out of Oblivion for a sing-along about how awesome this game apparently was. The irony, of course, being driven home by the fact that this is one of the worst games ever to be made anyway. It's an ending that should be seen to be believed, and there's no doubt in my mind that this is one of the greatest and worst video game endings of all time. Done. But if you happen to be one of the worst endings of all time, if that's even a thing, then like and sub and follow me on Twitter, yo. See you soon.
Life is killing me. I swear sometimes I think this life is killing me.